Hello, my friends. This is Sarah at Jujubee DIY. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today I'm bringing you my favorite fall crafts from 2020. So stay tuned if you want to check out what I have for you today. For our first project, we're going to take 4 of these pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. They're double-sided and have a little box on the inside it. I painted everything with an off-white color. Then I went in with a small paintbrush and the apple barrel burnt umber, and I'm just creating small strokes to make it look like the stem. Once that was complete, I took the folk art home decor paint in the color Castle and a dry paintbrush, and I'm just going around the edges, around those little openings, just to create a little depth and dimension on my project. I wanted it to look like little shadows or areas where there might be some raised places to make it more three-dimensional instead of just a flat piece. I cut out the word fall on my Cricut using black vinyl, and then I'm just going to add each of the letters to each of the pumpkins. This is such a fun little project, and I love that this is reversible, so you can change the look of your pumpkins very easily. On the back side of these pumpkins, I added some Mod Podge and just some scrap paper that I found in the open stock section at Michael's. You can get this kind of paper anywhere though, you know, like Hobby Lobby or Joann's. They all carry this kind of weathered wood paper. Using a sanding block, I'm going to just remove the excess paper. In Cricut Design Space, I also looked for autumn projects, and I found a few that I liked, so I cut those out with vinyl, and I just added one of the little projects to each of my pumpkins. So I wanted to create some height for 2 of my pumpkins. I'm taking 2 tumbling tower blocks, and I'm just going to glue them stacked, so 2 of them together, and then I will do that 4 times. After I have all 4 of them done, then I'm going to glue 2 sets on each pumpkin, so 1 on each side, and that'll just create a little height to a couple of my pumpkins. And I made sure that I put these on one of the L's and then one on the F or the A. I can't remember which one I did, but it doesn't really matter as long as you get one on the L and one on the F or the A. And here's a look at how this turned out. I think these are so cute. I love that I can stagger them differently, and you'll see that in the pictures. So this side is the fall side, and I just added some greenery in them. You could add some fall florals if you'd like. But I really just love how this turned out. For this next project, we're going to take this gather sign and some nautical rope and some of the lace ribbon, all from the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to go around the outside perimeter of this word with the lace ribbon. Just be careful because it will seep through. So I use one of those mask silicone brush things. Oh, after we are done with that, we're going to fill in our word with the nautical rope. So I'm just going to go along the outside perimeter of this whole word until I get back to the beginning. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. So if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. I am getting ready to start fall DIYs, and I don't think you're going to want to miss out on that. So hit that red subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit the gray bell for all notifications so that every time I upload, you get to be notified. Unless you don't want to be notified, then don't hit the gray bell button. Alrighty, so we're back to the beginning there. I'm just going to hot glue that down so that it's nice and cohesive. It doesn't look like, you know, the ends are showing or anything. Next, I'm going to take this nautical rope and I'm going to just kind of fill in wherever I need to fill it. So I'm just going to cut and basically cut and paste until it's all filled. Then I just put it on a wreath and I hung it on my front door, and I love how this turned out. It is so neutral and so just, I don't know, there's something about it I just love. For this project, we're going to take 7 tumbling tower blocks and we're going to attach them together end to end. I'm just using Aleene's tacky glue and hot glue to do this. And I'm using my square. This is the one I bought, or you know, it comes from the Dollar Tree, just to make sure everything is straight. Because sometimes these tumbling tower blocks can be a little wonky. So if you use a straight edge to make sure that they're all lined up perfectly, it works out a lot better. So I do this 4 times and then I give them a coat of paint. While those are drying, I'm going to cut out a piece of foam core board that will be the same size as my frame. And then I'm just adding some of this contact paper from Walmart to the front of it. Next, we're going to assemble our frame. I'm just going to use hot glue to attach these together. Now, I didn't do this in this video, but I think that the easier way to do this would be to create 2 L's and then connect those 2 L's together. That way you get a perfect square. I mean, obviously you can get a perfect square without doing it that way, but I'm going to add some hot glue to the outside edge here, or the back side of my frame, and then I'm going to put my foam core board right on top. I needed to add a hanger to the back of this, so I'm just using some jute twine. I did about 4 strands, 3 strands, something like that. Knotted the ends, and then I'm going to attach it with a lot of hot glue and a little bit of masking tape. Now, the reason I created this frame was because I always buy the paper pads from Michaels, the big 12 by 12 paper pads from Michaels, and they always have these beautiful full-size papers. I don't scrapbook. I used to, but I don't anymore, and so those full-size papers always go to waste, but they're always so pretty, and so I wanted a way to display them and be able to use them. So this was my solution. I'm just measuring out the middle there so that I can attach my bulldog clip, I think that's what they're called, to the middle. And that way I can just clip the paper onto it. It's framed nicely, and I can change it out whenever I want. And here's a look at how it turned out. I think this is really cute. I still have it up in my home, and I change out my papers all the time. So I've been gifted these LED candles a while back, and I always like to spruce them up. So I was going to show you how I spruce up my candles for fall or whatever. So this is just mesh ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just hot gluing it on, just using a tiny bit of hot glue. And that gold foiled leaf ribbon is just beautiful. For this candle, I'm going to add some nautical rope. I'm going to go around a few times. And again, I'm just using a little bit of hot glue. I want to be able to take this off seasonally. And then just gonna add a cute ribbon bow in the front here. And this was just ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I loved this ribbon. It was so fall to me. Next, I'm gonna take some jute twine. I'm gonna wrap this candle, I don't even know how many times, 20 maybe? I don't know, however many you want. And then we'll just add a little leaf to the front, securing it with some of that ribbon, the, you know, lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And they look so cute as a trio. These ones change colors, so I can change them to fall colors, and I love it. Next, we're going to take one of these pumpkins. These are just the foam pumpkins you can get at the Dollar Tree. They always carry them. And we're going to cover it in some nautical rope. Just going to start at the bottom. I'm going to swirl it around until I've got that whole pumpkin covered. So if you guys can do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button, you know, the thumbs up guy. Make sure you hit that before you leave my channel today. Also, I'd love for you to, you know, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of these projects. Let me know what you're up to. I love to interact with you guys, and those comments and thumbs up really do help my channel. It helps YouTube to, you know, notice me so that I get suggested more, and then more people can see my content. So you're really helping me out when you do that, and I appreciate it so much. All right, so now that I've got that nautical rope on it, I wanted to add some of the little segments, I guess you could call them. So I'm just using this jute twine, and I'm going to go around, you know, around. And I'll do that 3 times. Next, I'm going to take one of these little wood branch stems. I mean, they're not stems, but they're branches that the Dollar Tree carried. And I'm going to add that as my stem for my pumpkin. But you could use anything. I mean, you could use a dowel rod. You could use tumbling tower block. You could go out to your yard and get a stick. So, you know, because I know that these branch pieces are really hard to find at the Dollar Tree. As a matter of fact, this set that I had came from like 2 years ago, so. And here's a look at how it turned out. I love this. I love the texture. I love the color. I love everything about it. For this project, we're going to take 2 of these little pumpkins. Oh, let's see. So I had crocheted some buttons. If you don't know how to crochet, though, I've got a solution for you. You're going to need a fork and some either crochet thread or embroidery thread. Either will work. You'll just wrap your thread around your fork, you know, 6-7 times, something like that. And then you're just going to tie off the middle. So I'm just going to go in the middle of the fork, in between those prongs there, and I'm just going to tie it off with the knot. And then I'll just clip off any ends that I have, and I'll create 2 of those. So then we're going to glue them together in an X shape. And that ultimately will create our little flower. So I think this is a really good alternative to those crocheted buttons. And then just add a little button in the inside of your flower. I think these wood buttons came from Walmart, I think. I've had them for a while. Just one of my stash things that I've had. And then just hot glue it right to the middle, and then fluff out all those little loops to create a little flower. And it's super cute. So I did one pumpkin in the Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color Sage, and the other one in the Nantucket Blue. So I was really digging the Nantucket Blue, Sage, and Spiced Carrot from Apple Barrel for my fall decor last year. I think I'm still loving it a lot for this year. I might add in a little yellow Oh, so we're going to take some cotton twine. This is the stuff you can get from the automotive section, I think, in the Dollar Tree. But any twine will do. You can use embroidery floss, jute twine, whatever you'd like. I liked the cotton look. So then I'm just going to wrap this cotton twine around, hitting all the segments that are naturally in the pumpkin there. And then after that's all done, I'm going to add my little crocheted flowers on to my pumpkin, just to the sides there. I'm going to skip a segment, add a flower, skip a segment, so on. And I'll do that to both pumpkins. Both pumpkins are getting the same treatment. Alrighty, so then once that's done, I'm just going to add the stems that were already in the pumpkins back in. I just painted them with a castle color. Now I wanted to add a cute little bow, so I'm going to take this cotton twine and I'm just going to create a multi-layered looped bow here. Like a shoestring bow, whatever you want to call it, just a regular bow. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Alrighty, so we're just going to glue that right to the top. Cover up any imperfections that might be there, and then just trim the ends off. I love the vibe that these pumpkins gave. They kind of felt a little boho to me, and I loved that. I thought it was a really fun look. Here is how they turned out. What do you think? So for this project, we are going to take one of these Dollar Tree crates and I'm going to use my pencil to spell out the word Farm Fresh Pumpkins 25 cents. Now I did that beforehand because I didn't want to mess this up. This is a wood burning tool. I am just going to use this tool to go over my pencil lines. I thought that this gave it a very rustic, very farm, like a, farm stand look. Next I wanted to create the little, decoration in the front of the crate. So I'm just taking some of these craft sticks. I think these are the bigger ones you can buy at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut 2 of them down to fit the side in the front there. And I'll just glue those straight down with some hot glue. So you'll see me using tacks here. This is not the best idea. My solution, or my best idea for this, would be to get those puffy stickers that you can buy at the Dollar Tree and just paint those and then just glue those to the front, because when you put the tacks through, they're too long and then you've got pokies, and I couldn't get them to cut, and I had to put them in with a hammer. It was a mess. So just get those stickers or paint them on. That would even be a better option. Next I'm going to take this burnt umber paint that I mixed with water and I'm just going to stain my little crate. I was all about the paint stain last year, which I think is still a great option. I really do like this look. So yeah, I think it gives it a more weathered look. So I'm going to just do every single bit of this crate. Inside, outside, backside, flip side, all sides. I just added some of the little burlap and some mini pumpkins and some greenery to this, and I think this is just too cute. It worked perfectly for a tier tray or just anywhere I needed a little bit of extra fall decor for a filler, basically. Alrighty, moving on. We're going to take some scrap wood. This is just scraps that I had on hand. I cut them down. I'll leave dimensions in my description box down below, along with everything I'm using today. So I am going to paint 3 of these pieces, each a different size, in different colors. So this is the sage green, Nantucket blue, and spiced carrot. Next I'm going to take the medium-sized wood piece, add some wood glue, And I'm going to stack that right into the front of the bigger wood piece. And then I'll do the same with the smaller wood piece. I'll put some glue on it and I'll stack it into the middle there. And if that doesn't make any sense, you will be able to see what I'm talking about here in just a second. I'm going to use one of these wood round stem block things. I don't know what they're called. Sticks. And I'm going to glue it to the top to create our little pumpkin stem. So cute. So not only are threes visually appealing, but I have 3 daughters, so I wanted to add their initials to the front of these pumpkins, so I just used a font in Cricut Design Space and some vinyl, and then I'm just going to distress it with a little bit of sandpaper. I would do this before you add the vinyl though, make it a lot easier. Next I'm going to add cute little bows to each of these, and then that is done. It's super cute, super easy, and you know, is a scrap buster, so that's awesome too. All right, so this one is also a scrap buster. I'm just gonna I cut down 2 pieces that were exactly the same height, same size, and I'm just gonna glue them together to create like a thicker square. And I'll do that to the medium-sized piece and to the smaller piece. Those are like the medium and smaller pieces of the wood that I used in my last project. So I just painted those with the apple barrel spiced carrot, which I don't think you can get anymore, which I'm so sad about because I love this color. It is such a great orange. Next, we went into Design Space on Cricut, cut out some vinyl. Of course, you guys know, that you don't need to have a Cricut in order to do this kind of stuff. There are so many stickers and all kinds of ways that you can add fonts and pictures and all kinds of stuff. So and then I just embellished these with little sunflowers. These were from the Dollar Tree last year. I loved those little guys. They're so cute. And here is how they turned out. I added them to my tier tray and they were the perfect size. And I can tell you, fall and pumpkins do bring happiness. At least in my world they do. It is my very favorite time of year, fall. Okay. So next I wanted to create a little flower box. I'm taking one of these Dollar Tree, the squares that they have all year round. You can pretty much always find those shadow boxes in the square. So I'm going to take these jumbo craft sticks. I'm sorry guys, gosh. I'm going to take these jumbo craft sticks. These are not the giant ones, they're just the jumbos. And I'm going to cut them down. I don't know how long they are, about 5 inches I think. And I'm going to do that to 20 of them. I know that seems like a lot, but it looks really cute, so it's worth it. And then I'm just going to create a little picket fence shape at the top there. So just measuring it off, creating a center line, and then cutting that little bit of triangle. And then I'll sand everything down. I also needed 4 pieces that were going to be the length of the side of the box, so I just measured that out and cut them down. This is the Folk Art Home Decor paint in the color Castle. It is a really pretty color. It's a little bit deeper, I think, than the mineral, the Waverly chalk paint in the mineral color, but similar. Same undertone, same kind of gray brown color. So that would work really well, I think, too, to just use the mineral color if that's what you have. But really, you can use any color you want. You want to do off-white, do off-white. If you want to do white, do white. You can do anything. Elephant gray? Sure. So just give that a nice coat of paint, you know, paint away. And then you're going to paint all of your cut sticks the same, front and back. I wanted to add some texture to my popsicle sticks, or craft sticks, whatever you want to call them. So I'm taking the Apple Barrel Burnt Umber in a dry paintbrush. This is kind of a stiff brush, and I'm just going to paint that on, just kind of willy-nilly. Like, I don't really want full coverage. I just want it to look like it's worn, like there's paint chipping off, you know that look. So I'll do that to everything. Here I'm cutting down some floral foam to fit in the bottom of my shadow box. I had taken off that center, whatever the little thing in the middle was. It was like a pop-up thing. So I just took that off, and I'm just filling it with floral foam. And this is the side of the box. So I added a popsicle stick on each end and then one directly in the middle. And then in those two spots that are left, I'm going to add 2 more popsicle sticks. So we have 5 spaced out pretty evenly as possible. You know, we don't really measure in my world. And then we're going to use one of those long sticks to secure the top. And that's going to give us our picket fence look. And we'll do that to all 4 sides. And then just fill it with your favorite florals, and you have got the cutest little planter. I love it. I think this is so cute. And I actually made one with white and elephant gray for springtime, and it was perfect. So we're going to create my most favorite project I think I've ever made. I don't know, it might be a toss-up, but I really like it. So we're going to take these 5-gallon paint sticks. We're going to cut them about 17 inches, which is just cutting off that handle. We're going to give them a good sanding so they're nice and smooth. And then we are going to give them a coat of our favorite Apple Barrel Burnt Umber watered down stain paint, whatever you want to call it. So just paint that on and then wipe it off with a paper towel, easy peasy. And I'll do that to 6 of them. And then I'm going to secure them together using jumbo craft sticks. And I just used a little craft stick in between each board to create a little bit of a spacing, you know, so it was nice. And then I cut down some of the square dowel to make a frame. And I gave it the same paint treatment. And that kind of completes the first phase of this project. You're just going to hot glue and hot glue and wood glue the frame to the boards here. And that'll make it, that creates our sign base. So if you like what you're seeing so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. I really would love for you to join my little YouTube family. I have lots of great ideas, and you know, our favorite seasons are coming up, fall and Christmas, and I don't think you're going to want to miss it. So I hope you stick around. So for this phase of the project, we're going to paint up these pumpkins and leaves from the Dollar Tree. So I am taking that spiced carrot, mixing a little bit of the castle color, and that just gave me like a, you know, it made that apple barrel paint more chalk paint, I guess. So then I'm going to paint 3 in the spiced carrot, 3 in the Nantucket blue, and 3 in the sage green. And, you know, just I had some sort of method to my madness as far as like what I was going up and down for, but really it's just, you know, paint, 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 one in each color as you go along. And I wanted to make sure you knew how to paint these, you know. There's no mystery here. So taking the twine that comes with these for hanging up, I'm going to add a little hot glue to the back of these pumpkins. I'll do this to each of these pumpkins, by the way. And I'm just going to wrap that stem with that jute twine. And that pretty much takes care of that hole at the top of our pumpkin. And, you know, gives our pumpkin a little more of a rustic feel. Once that's all glued on, I'm going to clip off the ends, and then we're going to get crazy with fire. No, I'm just kidding. We are going to get a lighter out, and we're going to burn the jute twine. Now, if that's not your jam, that's totally cool. You can just use some brown paint or black paint to create the same look. I just really like the smell of burnt twine. And, you know, I like the way it looks too, so. I did that to the ends of the leaves too, the little stems on the leaves. Same exact thing. Zoom in so you can really see it. Oh, okay. So I cut out the word hello fall in white vinyl using the font The Skinny. I think we all pretty much know that font. Well, a lot of us do anyways. So it's a fun little font. And I'm just gonna use my ruler to make sure that I've got it all lined up nicely. I wanted this to turn it, you know, I wanted this to look nice, to be, you know, as professional as possible. And I wanted you to make sure you knew how to do vinyl too. It's important. You guys can use stickers if you want here too, or rub-on transfers, whatever you want. Okay, so I needed to cover up my hole on my leaves, and I didn't want to use spackle, so this was my solution. I'm just going to make a double knot in some twine, cut it off, and pull that twine through, and then I just added my little pieces to my sign here. I love how this turned out. It is hands down one of my very top favorite projects that I've ever made. It gives me all the fall feels, and I really did love it. So you'll have to let me know what you think of this project down in the comments. The next two projects are kind of pushing us further into fall towards Thanksgiving, really. So, but this guy would be cute anytime during the fall season, you know, but really more turkey, you know, he's a turkey, so he's going to be a little more, you know, I think during Thanksgiving, if you will. So I'm going to take, this was a 2x4 that I cut down, and the end of one of those 5-gallon stir sticks, and I just gave them a coat of the oh yeah oh my gosh, you guys, woo, nutmeg brown. That was the apple barrel nutmeg brown. I cut these popsicle sticks in half, and then I'm going to cover them with some fall papers. This was a pack that I bought at Michael's in 2020, and so I'm just going to use a glue stick to adhere the paper right onto the craft stick. And then I'll just use some sandpaper to finish off the edges. You know the drill. Yep, here I'm showing you. You're going to want to do that to each of those popsicle sticks. I think I ended up using 10 for this project. I'm pretty sure 10. And I just alternated the papers so that I had different papers. But you can use any paper you want. You can make them all the same. You can do them all different. You can, whatever you'd like to make your little turkey yours. After that, I'm going to distress the edges with a little bit of the Tim Holtz Distress ink in the color Walnut Stain. I like this one for distressing. It's a really pretty color. So I'm also going to link the blog post for the original person who made this turkey. Not my idea, totally a Pinterest project, but I love it, and so I want to give her recognition. So then I cut out a little beak and a wattle, just freehanding it. And I don't know what I'm doing here. Just putting stuff down. Oh, wait a second. We got to do the back first. So we got to add our feathers, quote unquote feathers, right? So I'm just kind of laying them out to see what colors I have. So I'm going to start, well, you can see what I'm doing here. It's, yeah, probably easier to just watch what I'm doing instead of me trying to explain it. The only thing I did do is kind of make sure that my outside popsicle sticks were all kind of the same trajectory, I guess, so that they're like in a nice arch. I think it turned out pretty cute. So then I'll glue the little body to the block. And I'm just using hot glue here, but if you're going to put this like on a table centerpiece, you know, use this as like a table centerpiece or something, you might want to use some hot glue just to make sure it's extra secure in case people are touching it, you know what I mean? So then I'm gonna make sure that the beak and the wattle are the right size, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna hot glue this right to his beak first. And then I'll hot glue that whole setup to his face. Or to the top part of the stick there, which will be his face. So then I lost, you know, all the fun footage of me decorating him. But what I did is I added a little bow tie to the front, added a little heart there at the bottom, painted on some eyes, and then used some white paint to just, you know, add some little highlights and make him extra cute. Oh, and I added a feather to the top there too. I love these guys. They are so cute. I've made so many of them over the years. I love them. Okay, so again, another turkey project. We're going to take some of these felt furniture pads, some of these napkin rings, and some of these leaves. And I just picked out 2 leaves that I liked. So for each turkey you'll want 2 to 3 leaves, I would think. I just used 2, and I'm just going to offset them a little bit so that the colors, both colors, show up. Just stacking them on top of each other there. Then I'm going to take one of these bigger felt pads, and I'm going to place it kind of towards the bottom of my leaves there. And then one of the smaller felt pads for his little head. So this guy's a little round turkey. He's so cute. And he needed a face, of course, so I'm just going to use some black paint and a small paintbrush to add some little beady eyes. And here is like me cutting out a beak. It is really just a triangle with a little rounded, you know, at one side rounded is all it is. So you can make these any size you want. And then this wattle is just, it's kind of like a jelly bean or like a deflated balloon. Yeah, it's just, you know, a little cutting, just kind of however you want. So then I'm going to glue those together and then glue that onto his face. And then we're going to add this to our napkin ring. So don't add them to the napkin ring this way, because that's not how it goes. You see me changing it up here so that he's facing the right way, so that when your napkin goes through, you know, he's not sitting sideways. So this guy is really cute. I love these for Thanksgiving table. For this project, we're going to take one of these IKEA spice racks. I always grab a couple of these whenever I go, just because I really love the versatility of these spice racks. You can do so many things with them. Today we're going to create a crate. So I'm going to take the spice rack and I'm going to measure out how long it is, and then I'm going to cut down 4 of the 5-gallon paint stir sticks to that size. Then I will attach 2 on each side, just like you see I'm doing here. I'll just attach that with hot glue and wood glue. And then I will paint it in the apple barrel burnt umber paint stain that I made. That's just the paint and water mixed together. And here it is completely put together. So let's decorate this for fall. I'm going to add some floral foam in here. I don't bother to hot glue it down. You can definitely hot glue it down, but I like to be able to take my floral foam in and out depending on how much it's used. So I'm going to add some pumpkins and gourds. These are a mixture from the Dollar Tree and from Walmart. Some of them I've put on skewers. They're just foam pumpkins, so you can just put a skewer through them or into them, and that just makes it so that you can add some height to your arrangement here. And then I'm just adding in leaves and fall elements. So I'm going to add one of the galvanized words from the Dollar Tree to the front of this. I would suggest doing that before you actually put florals in there, because it just kind of makes it a little easier, but I love how this little word looks on this crate, and I love these crates. I have a couple of them in my home, and they're so fun. For this next project, I cut out 3 pumpkins with my Cricut, and then I'm going to run 1 through my Texture Boutique just to do some embossing. If you don't have a Cricut or an embosser, you don't have to do that. You can just cut out a pumpkin. You can either use a picture that you get off the internet, or you can freehand some, and you don't have to emboss it at all. I just wanted a little bit extra texture. Next, I'm going to take these texture pastes from the Finnabair. I don't know what the brand is. I will leave it in my description box down below. However, they're kind of expensive, and I don't really think that you need these in order to achieve this same look. Just get some paints that are similar in color and add some baking soda, and you can create the same similar type of texture. But this is a really fun technique. I love the way it looks. I just get on Pinterest and look at rusted pictures to see how that rust and patina look, and then just go to town with my paintbrushes. It's very cathartic and very fun to just add these layers and create this rust effect. Look at how cool that is. Then I'm going to add that pumpkin to the other 2 that I glued together before, just to create a thicker piece. And then I'm going to glue this pumpkin onto one of these little palettes from the Dollar Tree. I just painted it with the burnt umber color. And these are perfect for just a little place where you need a little extra decor. Look how cute that is. So for our final project today, we're going to create this vase. I was inspired by a vase that I saw on Walmart, and I knew I could recreate it. So I'm taking 2 of these brooms from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut the handles off. I decided to leave the little bit of twine that was attaching all of the little wood pieces together. You can kind of see that at the top. And I thought that would be easier to glue these onto my vase. This vase is just a vase I got from the Dollar Tree a few years ago. You just want something that's tapered, a little bit bigger at the bottom, smaller at the top. And then you're just gonna glue those brooms basically to your vase. I could have probably used a third broom, but I didn't have one on hand. So I'm just going to take the handle to one of the brooms and I'm just going to fill in wherever there are spaces that need to be filled in with my hot glue. I'm just going to hot glue those right on there and just kind of add glue and then stick them on. This is super easy little project to do. And it kind of looks like a haystack, like an old-fashioned haystack. I mean, I don't know, maybe they still do haystacks like that. They don't here. We get the big round or square haystacks. But I guess those wouldn't be haystacks, would they? They'd be like bales. So just keep gluing until you're happy with how it looks. You just want to make sure that your bottom is even so that your vase sits flat. Then I'm going to take some of this burlap ribbon. This was from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to hot glue that to my broom handle sticks. And yeah, this glue gun was on its last leg. So I was kind of fighting it a little bit. But yeah, you're just going to hot glue that around. And because it is tapered, the ribbon doesn't sit flat. So my solution to that was just to pinch the fabric until it was sitting flush to my project. You can kind of see what I'm doing here, and I'll just fold that over and hot glue it down. And then I'm going to add a bow to this. I didn't film myself doing that, but I just did like an awareness ribbon, crossover, pinched the center, and then used some jute twine to secure it. And that created a nice bow for my project. So to finish this up, I'm just going to trim off the very top part of my vase. I wanted this to come up a little bit above the lip of the vase underneath, but I didn't want that vase to show. So I'm just using my scissors to cut that down, and I wasn't too worried about it, you know, being even necessarily, because I knew I was going to put florals in here and it was going to get covered up anyways, because that hole is pretty small. So I figured the florals I put in there would just cover up the edge. And here's a look at how it turned out. I love how this turned out. It is so like fall to me. I think it has so much great texture and has a great look. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know in the comments down below which project was your favorite. I'd love to hear what you think. And I hope that you have a happy, healthy, and blessed day, and we'll see you at the next time. Bye!